I'm going to be honest, I love this guitar and I hate this guitar. The tone is great, but man, there's some things about it that make me go "Arr!" Heads up, this is not going to be a sound sample kind of review. It's going to touch on other aspects of the guitar that I feel are equally important. But to understand them, I need to rewind the clock. Some time ago, I posted a story-style video chronicling the misadventures in getting this 2017 Gibson high-performance Explorer to the stage so I can play it. In the 1 year since I've had it, there have been numerous trips to and fro the shop to replace dead bridge pickups and attempts to keep the G-Force tuner module from falling off the headstock. I finally managed to get it up and running, and you can hear the guitar on my latest EP release where I used it as a guitar doubler in most tracks and as the lead voice in my reharmonized Jesus Shall Reign. The fast neck, small frets, relatively flat fingerboard, and hot pickups made for navigating heavy riffs easy. One year is a short time in a guitar's history, but so much has happened to this Explorer that I'm dedicating an entire video to chronicle the exact changes I made to it so that you can learn from my experience. A major factor of discomfort didn't even come from the guitar itself, it was transport and logistics. With that gargantuan case, loading it into the car was a huge challenge. Even with my 7-seater MPV, I had to sacrifice the entire spacious boot to load up, with no space for a stroller. To make things a little more challenging, there was a chance the case would fall out when opening the boot since there was nothing holding it in place. So I had to practice some ninjutsu in opening the boot with one hand and potentially catching a falling case with the other. If you're getting an Explorer, you need this case. Enter the 1SKB SC63 case. And you thought Sir pickup names were bad. It's sized for the Firebird and similar styles like Explorers. It's shorter and more compact in form factor than the Explorer hard case, has more pockets to hold your small bits and pieces, and most importantly, it has a pair of shoulder straps that opens up the option to back carry the guitar. And the cherry on top, it fits cars so much easier. If you're thinking I'm making a big deal out of carrying a guitar, as someone who has had multiple wrist injuries and needs to be extra careful about how much weight my wrists are bearing, spending the extra cash to use this case instead of the included hard case is worth it. By the way, if you're finding value in this content, do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon for more. I mostly do tone tweaking and crafting videos, but every so often, I need to tell stories like these. G-Force, I really tried to like you. For years, I was intrigued by the Tronical tuning system, and when I got the G-Force in my hands, I loved to hear the mechanical buzzing of the tuners as they magically got the guitar into tune. That is, when the tuner actually worked. Most of the time, my high E string will be slightly out of tune, and you can't just manually crank the tuner to make the correction. No, you have to activate the individual string tuning mode and hope that it finished the job. 9 out of 10 times, it didn't. The string will still be slightly out of tune, but because the frets are small and the neck is fast, I'm able to compensate by fretting slightly ahead to correct for a flat string, which shouldn't be the solution to the problem. I bought an expensive guitar, and I would argue that the basic expectation for a guitar above a certain price point is that it stays in tune. The forum posts about the G-Force tuner were quite unanimous. Trash them and swap them out for regular tuners. I really tried not to do it. but one incident pushed me over the edge, which made me go, enough is enough. Minutes before I was to go on stage with the Encounter and serve at a night of worship, the G-Force tuner decided that I didn't need a high E string and broke it while tuning up. At that point, I hadn't even learned how to restring the system, which I've heard can be complicated. It certainly cannot be learned in minutes before going on stage. It was purely by God's grace that I was prompted to bring home 2 of my guitars that I left in office. It was a rush to run back to the car, toss the Explorer in, and retrieve my office guitars.
That's it! I had enough!
The G-Force tuner had to go. If you're getting a high-performance Explorer, you need these tuners. A trip to TYMC got me sorted out with a set of Goto locking tuners, which are my absolute favorite. Thankfully, there was no need to drill the headstock due to proprietary tuner sizing, so it was a matter of removing the tuner module and dropping in the new locking tuners. I wish I had done this sooner. The tuning is so much more stable. I have the freedom to tune whenever I want, and now I can hang this guitar on the wall rack without worries. In conclusion, tone is just one component of reviewing a guitar. The entire experience, even the transport and logistics, need to come under consideration. You can have the greatest tone, but it doesn't matter if you can't get the gear out of the house and onto the stage. I hope that you'll learn from my experience and take steps to make your Explorer a gig-worthy instrument. All links to the case, the tuners, and the shop where I got the tuners swapped out will be in the description box below. And that's me. What about you? Do you have any gear horror stories? Let me know in the comment section below. Special thanks to TYMC for doing an excellent job with the tuners. Want to hear the story of how I got the Explorer and the misadventures that came with it? Feel free to check it out here. I put in a lot of effort to make it look like a story, so I hope it's at least mildly entertaining to hear. I'll see you there. Until next time, I'm Justin, and I'm all about worship guitar.